Hi, Michelle. How are you?
Good, Victor. How are you?
Living a dream. Thank you.
Amazing.
So it's great to catch up today. I think the HoloX event we had in Slovakia was very successful. That's how we see it. I got a lot of questions from our users, and I think it's a great opportunity to just have a discussion what you've guys done, especially ever since the event, and what's new, what's on the agenda, and where are you guys heading? Yeah. So event, just some feedbacks. The business model change which you guys done, or business model upgrade. I think there was a great, very positive feedback from our community.
Amazing.
Yeah, I think it was a great idea from you to bring the business to a global level, and making sure that anyone who has bought Holoverse token already and whoever is looking to buy the token is benefiting from a global business opportunity and not something that's only limited to certain parts of the world and only certain elements of the business that you guys are doing. So what's been happening? What have you guys been doing in the last month? Anything new? What can you share with us?
So quite a few developments in the last few months. But first of all, it's always good to hear that the feedback was positive, and also the reaction towards changing the model. I think that from our perspective, it was the only decision that we could make on it. It makes sense. It allows us as a company to make any decisions that we have to make, whereas everything that we do, including blockchain into the company, makes it beneficial for our participants. Having this model also allows us to be able to do quotations and be competitive when we have to do tenders with the company.
Yeah.
So that's one. We have been behind the scenes working very actively on that. Another thing that we've been working on, which was hinted a little bit with some of the commercial licenses that we started, but also where we were approached, was of course the cards business, collectible cards.
So collectible cards, you mean that you can buy either in a package or individual cards or anything that...
So collectible cards or trading cards are a massive industry. And it is, you always buy them in packages. So it's either a blister or a box with blisters. And there is a distribution of cards within that. So each collection has a size or a range. That is, it has a topic, what it's about. And then there's a rarity of cards within those collections, where you can have simple packs or blisters that you buy in either a supermarket or a bookstore or whatever. And then there's also very expensive limited boxes that still have a mixture of cards in it that are extremely valuable. And this market is actually booming everywhere in the world, and it's massive.
I see that. Yeah, my kids love it as well. I'm not sure whether these collectible football cards that they love, we usually buy them, and it's been going on for years, and they love it. It's very interesting, I think.
Yeah, it's this aspect where, when you think of it as a whole, there's multiple layers of that experience. So first, if it's a series of collectible cards about something that someone likes, they are buying a product that supports something that you're already interested in. Let's say football. They're kids, so they're looking at the games. They are playing the sports themselves. They're pretending, or they're looking up to some of their top favorite players who they want to be when they grow up. And then when they start collecting these cards, they don't know what they're going to get, so they're building their own team or their own collection in one way, and they're looking up to their idols. So they're interacting with that on every level. Now, in the trading cards, they start buying cards, and then they get some double, and then they're missing out on some of the other cards.
I've seen that all the time, yeah.
Yeah, and that's when part of the magic of this happens, because it triggers people again on some intrinsic desire. We have the desire as humans to have something and to have it complete. We want to have things properly in their order. So some people, when their OCD ticks, it's even when things are misarranged a little bit. But that's as a whole. So they have these cards, and they're missing a few players from the teams that they care about, or they want to just have everything, because you get that collectible album, and then you see that empty spot, and it hurts. And then you start connecting with other children or people that are doing the same online or in school, whatever, and they start trading. So it becomes an active thing. And then it also becomes precious because once you have that collection complete, oh, that's my complete collection.
Yeah.
And some kids will complete everything and others, they'll do it for a little while and they won't care. And all of that is fine. Well, it's a massive industry.
And it seems a very complex industry as well. There are a lot of players, a lot of roles. Who is licensees, I guess licensors, producers. Can you just help us understand how the market looks and where you guys got yourself into this whole sector?
Yeah.
I think that would be very fascinating to hear.
Perfect. So first, indeed, let's look at this from a licensing perspective. So how IP licensing works, how IP works, is that if it's yourself, you are the owner of your IP. You're the owner of your image. It's important to realize this. Then next, it is you have a football club, and that football club that plays in a league, but it also plays in an international league. It's also its own thing. It has its own players. So that's a second license as well. Then you have each and every league. You have a league local in a country, and there's graduations in it. There's also sponsor other things in it that are associated to it. But then they play internationally. So it goes from local to European to worldwide. And these are all leagues that are being played. And all of these things separately are controlled by something. So all of a sudden, think about licensing this. You have to license each and every club individually. You have to license each and every league. Each league has its own events. So I could buy a FIFA license, but does it allow me to do World Cup? Does it allow me to do Premier League? Just a local league? All of this is divided because there's a lot of money in it. So they are marketing it. Next is, that's all fine. So I bought myself a license from the FIFA, and I bought myself a license from some clubs or all clubs. Now I would like to do the players, but each player is also their own individual person. So now you have to license each and every individual player. Okay, that sounds complicated as it is.
So just as an example, look at, say, Lamine Yamal. He's one of the most prospective players today in Spain, a great player plays in Barcelona. So in this case, you would need to obtain, or company would need to obtain a license to have something with La Liga, have something with FC Barcelona, and would need to have an agreement with the management or with the person, Lamine Yamal in this case. So it's
and also then with FIFA and also with UEFA.
Okay.
And sometimes also with some of their sponsors, depending on what is involved in it. So because Lamine Yamal is a very, he won the gold ball. So he's a very wanted IP. So this is a complex thing to license. But then if someone licensed the entire Liga and he's playing in the Liga, he has to be licensed in that. But does that then mean that you can do only Lamine Yamal things? No, so those licenses are very complex.
So how did HoloX enter this, and who approached you, who you will be working with?
So
I see it's a very complex and it's a big issue how to sort out these licenses, but I'm sure there's someone on the market that works on it, yeah?
So this market already exists, and on a global scale, this market is operated on a few fronts. One front is in the people that control that own the licenses. And then there's actually 6 or 7 companies worldwide that are continuously buying all these licenses, and they're buying them on an exclusive or semi-exclusive basis. And we're not even talking about millions that are being paid for it. The figure is very high. And these licenses are obtained annually or for a couple of seasons or events. And it's being pre-booked. So if you want to obtain the license, it's not that the World Cup is in a few months and you start buying the license now. No, now you buy the license for 2028, 2030. That's just the license. And then in that process, you're going to compete and complete all the sub-licenses for all the players as well. Which brings you to the second part of this. Once you know that you have a license for a certain event, you can start preparing your marketing for it. But you don't even know exactly which player is going to play where until either the season starts or a short period before the event. So that's challenge number 2. Once you've defined your license, your scope, everything, then you have a very short period of time to design, approve, and create, package, ship, and bring it either into retail, into stores, on your marketing, on your channels, all of these cards. And that's a huge challenge.
Okay. And somebody needs to produce these cards as well,
Yeah.
I would assume. So
Yeah.
you've talked about licensing. So you need to have the rights to certain licenses to produce cards. You need to have a design, and one would need a distribution globally, where to sell or how to distribute these cards.
Yeah.
And then I assume somebody would need to make these cards as well.
Yeah.
How does that work?
So there's an Italian company, and it's not very familiar outside of this world, even to the collectors. But it's extremely important. The company's name is Sinigaglia. And this company actually does the production for almost all of these companies. So they produce from collectible cards based on gaming to all the football cards or sports cards, because sports is much larger than just football. They produce it all.
Wow. And so what's the name of the company again?
Sinigaglia.
Sinigaglia. So what does Sinigaglia have to do with HoloX?
So Sinigaglia actually approached us. They approached HoloX because they are continuously looking to improve and add the next thing or a new thing into cars to create something more special, more rare, more exclusive. And in this industry, they've been trying to do something with either a 3D effect or with a hologram or with some foils. And the reaction to those items has always been very good, but it was always a bit lackluster. So when they approached us and we started sending them samples and explaining them what we could do, it just blew their minds. They were so excited. So they started involving their clients, so the companies that are purchasing these license. And that's where we're going to start with one of the American card production companies.
So with Sinigaglia, you got yourself a deal with this company.
Yeah.
And that's great. And I'm just trying to summarize it.
Yeah,
because it's a big topic, I think. To just correct me if I'm wrong. I'm just trying to see if I understand it correctly. So it's a complex market with a lot of license issues, licensors, players, teams, all the leagues, whatever. So there are certain companies who obtain all these rights, and they end up actually distributing and manufacturing cards. There's a 6 or 7 company roughly covers pretty much the whole world, and basically most of the cases they go to one supplier who does the manufacturing for them. And that's the company you got yourself a deal with.
Exactly.
I think that's very, very good news. So this helps a lot, I think, to HoloX. The way I see it is not having to go through teams, licensing, and stuff like that. But you found that the bottleneck, you found it, and you were able to get a deal. I think that's
I think
enormously good.
It puts us in exactly the position where we as a company would want to be, because the companies that obtain these licenses, like their design department, is 250, 300 people.
Wow.
That are just design, not marketing, not anything else. Just their design origination department. And it makes sense because if you only consider the American market, sports market, end of August, the draft closes. Before the draft closes, basically every player could shift. And then mid-September, the season starts. So how short is that time frame from NFL, baseball, basketball, you name it, all of the leagues, college football, major leagues, you have to make everything. You have to design everything. You have to make an algorithm, how you want to handle rarity in these cards, produce it. Production is very strict because these companies, they say that the value is in how accurate and pristine the collection is. If you ever watch a show about the collector's market, you see how just a wrinkle on the edge of a card
drops the price completely.
It can alter the price completely.
Yeah.
So they are very meticulous about it. When they give a printing instruction, it is exactly we want this ink, this mixture, this thickness, this printing process, this paper, and from front to end. And those cards, they're meant to last 10, 15, 20 years without shifting their colors. If you leave them out in the sun,
it's a different story.
It's a different story.
It's work at the suntan, obviously.
But under normal conditions, these cards will keep their color, their pristineness for years and years.
Wow.
Because of how meticulous this is. So for us as a company to enter into this and having to compete first for those licenses, it's a massive budget. It would force us to reinvent ourselves completely, and then we'd still have to start competing. So we need to we have to tap into their user base, into their clients.
Yeah. That's a hard thing. Yeah, that's a different game.
Forget about it. 100 million wouldn't cover it just to get in.
Yeah. I think building into the supply chain of this whole industry, I think that was a great idea.
Exactly.
And something caught my ear is that, so this production company, obviously with one of their partners, they will be looking at the North American market.
Amongst others, but yes.
Amongst others, yeah, as well. So I think it's a great example to me, the decision you made with the business upgrade and how to make sure that the whole community and whole token owners will benefit, because this one is, North American market or European market is something new that has been just added to the game. So I think
Definitely.
It's very, very important to see that.
Yeah, it is. It goes back to one of those fundamental things that, it's like if you're navigating across the ocean. Sometimes you have to change your course in order to reach the target that you want to reach. So with the old model, this would be a tough decision, because how are you going to implement that? How are you going to do that? Would you get backlash?
You would be competing with yourself continuously.
Exactly.
I think it was a great decision you guys made. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
So obviously we speak a lot, and I think I have a better understanding how you guys run the business. I think it's great. I think it's an enormous thing what you guys are doing. It's a great technology. It's hard decisions. I see it with BlockBen as well, with Banker and other companies that we have. So there's sometimes decisions have to be made, especially in direction.
Yeah.
And what I've heard, like other sectors as well, a lot of cases, implementation, like technical implementation of these new technologies will take time. I assume it will be the same case here as well.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's not like that you sign a deal and tomorrow you will see it in every store. There's new seasons coming in. Things are, I think I'm correct, yeah? So things are booked in, things are decided already for a certain time frame. So you guys have to work hard with your partners and with your clients as well to make sure that in the new set of orders and in the new elements that are coming into the business for them as well, this will be included down the track, but it's not a rapid change. It's not like from tomorrow. It will take some time.
No, that definitely. It's very good that you point this out. I mean, this is between you and me when we're talking with each other. This is obvious, because we're actually handling not just making a decision or reaching a point, but then actually implementing it, scaling it out, rolling it out, and making sure that the vision that you have runs smoothly. We understand this process, but if you're just listening in, or if you hear about it, you could like, they signed this deal, now they're going to do 2 billion cards in the next draft. That would be impossible to implement.
Yeah, of course,
Yeah, so it always, you start at a certain point and you take a long period to prepare for it. Yeah. Then we're going to do some trial cases, because this company as well, with their marketing, they have to define. They realize this is what we want. This is amazing. But now, how are we going to bring this to our audience? How are we going to scale this?
Get the most out of it as well.
Get the most out of it. Make sure that your audience understands it.
Yeah.
But also make sure that you implement it on a scale where it grows into the thing.
Yeah, definitely. I just love it. So I think this industry is huge, and tapping yourself into having a deal with the largest supplier in the whole industry, and then going on a journey with them. And what you said is that they think this might be the new thing that will add the new layer and new level of collectible cards, I think it's a great decision, and I love to see that there is this very good, interesting demand coming in to you guys. Yeah. Slightly other topic, and thanks for sharing this information. I think it's great news, and I'm sure the current token owners and future token owners will be very happy to hear and see this. We've been, and I know you guys are very. I know because the reason I'm smiling because I'm being asked the same question all the time, and you know me, I try to avoid answering these questions as much as I can, obviously.
Yeah.
But I know that hard security is a big thing, obviously, for holographic technology as an implementation.
Definitely.
How do you see that sector today? Do you guys have? I wouldn't expect you to get into any specifics, obviously, but generally speaking, what's on your radar, or are you on someone's radar that would be very interested about getting holographic technology in?
Yeah, it's even beyond very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So this is this point where we're both smiling, but we're under, when we're talking outside of podcasts with each other, we're also under NDA with each other and dealing with compliance from BlockBen's side. There's certain information that you have to have access to.
Mm-hmm.
So
correct,
so a little bit more than the audience, and also a little bit more than we could disclose with the audience at this point. But we are on a very good track with high security. Now,
like any large player that you would.
Yeah, it's a very large player in this industry that we're working with. We're looking to be able to publish. Well, I wouldn't
get you. I wouldn't like these. Dates are interesting.
I would like to be able to announce it yesterday.
Yeah.
But we're getting very close to be able to announce it.
Mm-hmm.
But our audience also has to understand that this industry is even more complex than the industry about the trading cards.
Mm-hmm.
Because you're dealing with governments, you're dealing with central banks on the end of the chain, where these things go into market, into circulation.
It's enormously regulated.
It is enormously regulated. There are also procedures within this industry where imagine that if you make a decision as a government to purchase something. So let's say you find the next best thing. It's the most impressive protection for your money or for your passports, and you want to have it. As a government, you can't just say, okay, I'm going to buy it.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah, then the procedure starts from your side as well. So what governments have to do, typically, is that they have to get it's not completely public, but it's an approval process for purchase.
Yeah.
So they're going to set out with their vetted suppliers. Once they already decide what exactly they want, and then it's a total package. It's an offer.
And there's a long process then a lot of hoops to jump through.
And there's a lot of hoops to jump through. So we have a plan for this. What's good to know is that once a company starts taking in these contracts, you're not talking about so. Just compare it with the card business. You do a draft, you do a season, you do a collection. That's one edition that you're doing. And next year can be completely different. Even just if the company that you were doing the holographic card with next year loses the license because another company, they're competing with each other as well.
Yeah.
So they just outbid for the license a couple of million. And then they want to do their own thing.
Yeah.
That can happen.
That's how the market is, yeah.
That's how the market is. So your production of flow can fluctuate. That's not when you're doing government security. You sign a contract that's 5 years, 8 years, 10 years, guaranteed.
Locks in your business, yeah.
Yeah, it really locks you in on such a predictable scale because you know exactly. Okay, I signed this contract. And delivery starts in 18 months or in 24 months.
Yeah.
And that's the volume that I have to do for that contract for the next 5 or 8 years.
Yeah.
Now, that's an amazing position to be in as a company because you can really plan and scale and optimize your efficiency accordingly.
Yeah, that's very good, yeah. So I look forward to the next couple months to see how this rolls out. I'm very optimistic.
Yeah.
Obviously, as you said, I know a couple of things. Obviously, anything that falls under your NDA, I do not. Just to make sure. It doesn't sound like that.
Your audience is now going, your phone is going.
No, I don't know more than I should, but I know where, and I think that's another great topic. And in the next couple of months, I'm sure there will be some things that you will be happy to announce.
I look forward to that. It's massive.
And I was asked by my support to just clarify something. We spoke about it earlier. I just want to make it public regarding the vouchers following the boxes.
Yes.
There will be some change because I think under the current conditions, by the end of December, vouchers would have to be redeemed. But I think that you guys change your mind a little bit, or you just want to add something or add some extra value to the clients. What?
Yeah. So point is that with everything that we're doing, that is in the pipe, but also where we're at with our existing audience, we are going to extend that period. We're talking a little bit between ourselves as well, how we're going to announce how we're going to do it. But we're going to extend it, I think, for at least a year.
Yeah. So adding an extra 12 months to the expiry of the vouchers, that's what you're saying. So not 2024 end of December, but 2025 end of December, that's the vouchers will expire. So that's when they should be redeemed by.
Yeah,
correct?
we're and even there, we're still considering. So from one perspective, we have to put an expiry date on there.
Of course,
at some point.
Cannot hang there forever.
It cannot hang there forever, but we really, we wouldn't want to get into a situation where all of a sudden people would be forced to make their decision just in the next month. Stick with us for the next year as well. It's going to be amazing.
Oh, I bet, yeah.
And if you see something that you like or you want, especially now, just go for it. But otherwise, we're
Okay, good. So that's very thank you for that. So adding an one extra year with the validity of the vouchers, I think it's great.
Yeah.
So thank you very much for this discussion. We will catch up later on today anyhow, I know. Yeah. And any news or any updates you have, just let us know and we are happy to share it with our community.
Awesome.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, and thank you to the community as well for following us on this journey. It's amazing.
Yeah, thank you.